guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Angela Braniff, and today, just hear me out, okay? Don't click out of this video. I wanted to share with you guys a video that I did. It was a live that I did just off the cuff, spur of the moment on Facebook and Instagram a couple weeks ago, but something that was really on my heart and something I wanted to share about motherhood and with you guys, and just an encouragement. And yeah, I felt like there's some things that often go overlooked and get misconstrued, and so that is what I'm about to share with you guys, is that live. Obviously, because it's from a camera or a recording on my computer, the quality is not stellar. It's not what you're used to here in terms of quality, but the content itself, what I have to say, I think is worth hearing and worth listening to. And it's just from my heart to you, if you are a mama, or if you are going to be a mama someday, or are pregnant now, whatever the case may be. It's just something that was really on my heart as an encouragement to share with you guys. So stick around, because I want to talk to you guys about the truth about motherhood, and 3 things that have revolutionized my own journey in motherhood and sort of helped me to thrive in motherhood and not just survive it. Hello. If you saw, well, I can't title this one yet, but I will when I'm done. And I titled it on Facebook. If you saw the title of this and it says, "You are a stable goat," and you are asking yourself, why am I following this woman who just called me a goat? Just hear me out, okay? Just hear me out. I shared on Facebook and Instagram, actually, a couple of days ago, a post talking specifically to my mama followers and telling you and reminding you that while the world will tell you that you are just a mom, that you are not just a mom, that you are the heartbeat of your family. And for me, I tend to, I don't know where you guys are at, what your weather's like, what's going on in your life right now. It's raining, and it's been raining for days. I am someone who is very much affected by the weather. When the weather is really dreary and rainy, I tend to get very Eeyore-like and very like, okay, I'll get my coffee. You know what I mean? Like, I just start to drag. And one of the things that causes is this, like, just sort of inability to see how my behavior affects my family. And so what I wanted, the reason I titled this "You're a Stable Goat," and what I wanted to share with you this week, a little bit of Wednesday encouragement. I'm not going to be on here forever long. I just wanted to remind you again, like I shared the other day in that post, that you are the heartbeat of your family. You are the one who sets the tone for your entire family. And that, it feels like a really big a responsibility, because it is, but it's one that we are so uniquely designed and capable of that I have to remind myself. So this is an Angie preaching to herself while also wanting to share with you guys my heart on this. Like I said, so when I say you're a stable goat, I'm sure many of you might already know this, but I will just share with you in case you did not, that racehorses, okay, they are high capacity, have so much, you know, just running through them, coursing through their veins at any point. They're almost neurotic animals because of the nature of what they do, being racehorses. And so many of them will have a stable goat, and they will take a goat and pair it with a racehorse, and they become, in most cases, lifelong partners, where this goat remains in the stable with the horse to keep the horse calm, to keep it even keeled, to give it a sense of togetherness and comfort. And it's really a critical role. And you might look at it like, well, geez, this goat, like, their life is just stuck in a barn stable, you know, with this horse who gets all the glory, gets to go out there and run the races and do all the things. But the goat is just back here in this barn, just
being its goat self. But the goat has an important and critical role. And I think that in some ways, many of us moms are the stable goats of our families. We are the ones at home in the trenches, supporting our people, loving our people, praying for our people, um, in some cases, educating our people. And we are pouring into those around us. And while um, we it's important to take care of yourself, so don't, I'm not saying that that's not important, but I think it's also important to recognize just what a gift that role is to those around us, that being self-sacrificing is not a lost art. There's so much honor and respect and nobility in being a person who sacrifices of self for those that they love. And that's a huge part of what motherhood is. It's a huge part of what it means to be a parent and to raise children. It is forever to enter into this place of putting yourself second to people that you love in many cases. Again, nuance. If you watch our podcast episode, there's nuance, so hear it. uh, but I think that when I break down sort of the three key things when I'm thinking about being the stable goat of my family and how I can do that best, and the type of environment that I want in my home. Um, we all come from different backgrounds. We all come from different upbringings and cultures. So it's going to look different for everybody. I am fortunate enough in this life to have been raised by wonderful, amazing parents, and I had a wonderful childhood. So I don't come from a background of trauma or anything like that. So one of the things that I take from my own childhood and want to give to my kids in return is the fact that my mother created an environment in our home that made it feel like home, like the place that you wanted to be. It gave it that sense of like, I belong here. And the way that she did that was through three different things. And I don't know that I've never talked to her about this. I don't know that she did it intentionally or that there was any thought behind it. But when I go back to nail down what those three things were and how I want to carry them and implement them into my own home with my children, one of them were sites. So by sites, I mean my mother kept our house tidy. She kept our house arguably pretty darn clean, much cleaner than I keep our house a lot of days. But she kept our house tidy. So the environment was a calm one to be in. Sure, she decorated with things I might not choose, ducks and things like that. But it was an inviting, welcoming environment. I think that anybody who's ever been to my mother's house, anybody that was ever friends with me in high school or college years or whatever, when I was living with my parents and would come in to our home, would tell you that my mother created an environment that was welcoming and inviting. And I felt that as someone who lived there. So keeping the home tidy was part of that, so that when you looked around, it didn't feel like chaos around you. It felt calm. The second piece of that is sounds. My mother listened to music and this was again, in the old days before the Amazon and you could tell it what to play or whatever, she'd have to go get the old CD out and put it, or sometimes we listened to records or tapes. But from a young age, I remember my sister and I listening to Elvis records on a record player, and then, tapes. Remember when you had to take it out and flip it over to get to the other side of the music? But later on, I remember her listening to a lot she loved like show tunes and stuff. I have a huge love for Andrew Lloyd Webber and all of his music, and it's because my mom listened to that stuff and so the home just had this feel of, it was things that she loved. And sure, as like a 14-year-old, was I like, yeah, let me sing the soundtrack to Cats? Not necessarily, but it stuck in here, and something about it I secretly liked, even though my 14-year-old self probably wouldn't have wanted to admit it. There was absolutely something about it that I liked and loved, to the point that I do it now myself. It's on my iTunes right now. Many of those same soundtracks and CDs and stuff that she used to listen to, I still listen to, particularly when I need a source of comfort or miss my mom or something like that. I will listen to that music. So that was something else that she did that I try to implement and like to implement with my kids, is music and listening to music. And of course, if you watch our videos or know our family at all, you know we love to get down and have a little dance party. But I also like to listen to whether it is worship music or Beethoven or soundtracks from musicals or whatever it is. I love to listen to music and let my kids listen to what I am listening to, even if it's not hip, which 95% of what I listen to is not hip. So let's be clear with that. Like, it's not hip. And initially they will grumble and they will complain when they want to listen to their booty shaking music and you're not feeling it and you're making them listen to Beethoven, but they will thank you later. So she did that, like I said, through sights, through sounds, and then through smells. And it wasn't that she was always baking something or anything like that. Candles, or nowadays we understand the toxicity of candles, so we ease up on those a little bit, maybe, and maybe diffuse some oils. But baking fresh bread and a pot of soup, or something like that, that she was making our house a home, and she was creating an environment there. And she still did this even in the periods. I want to say this as an encouragement to those of you who are like me, who are also working moms, because I am a working mom. And I'm a uniquely strange position in that, like, it's not unique. A lot of people do this, but I'm a stay-at-home mom and a working mom. So kind of bearing both of these. A number of years there where my mom, because our family needed it, she went to work at a call center for Wells Fargo. And so she went to a 9 to 5 job every day, but the environment at home still stayed there. So I think it's still possible to create that environment, even, it's not unique to stay-at-home moms. It's something that we can all create for our families, whether, we're stay-at-home moms or not. Or even if you don't have kids, right? Maybe it's just you and your partner, or maybe it's just you. That's the thing that I've carried with me, is that while I've never lived alone, I lived with my parents, and then, Sierra and I got married, and I lived with my sister and her, I've lived with people. I've never lived alone. But when I am alone, I still want and crave and do the same things for that environment, for me. So even if you're living alone and you don't have anyone else that you're doing with, creating this environment for yourself, because you're the heartbeat of your home, even if it's just you and your cat, okay? Anyways, all of that to say, I just wanted to remind you today and encourage you today that you are the stable goat of your family, and that role is one that is worthy of respect and reverence. It is not to be taken lightly, and it is not to be viewed lightly. And that we live in a culture that wants to downplay that role and make it seem like there's no intellect, you're just a mom, that there's no more depth to you, that you are you are a baby making machine shooting out crotch goblins. I've seen all the things, okay? Online, I've seen all the things and heard and been on the receiving end of all of the criticisms of moms and, large families, small families, whatever it is. But the role of mom, there's so much dignity in it. That is not lost. And the most important part of it to me is recognizing that nobody can take that from us. They can only take it if you let them. If you let them tell you that there's no dignity in what you do, if you let them tell you that there's no honor or respect or no importance really in what you do, that other people are doing more important work and you're just at home wiping butts and scooping up Cheerios, like that's you it's a choice to internalize that or not as truth, because it is not truth. And anybody who was raised by a good and loving mother will tell you that. They are the heartbeat of the family. And as they grow older and their children grow up and they become the matriarchs of this larger family, it's a role that is so critical in our society, and one that I believe deserves a lot more respect and reverence than it receives. And the only way that I see, at least in my short-sightedness of making that happen, is to continue to demand it by showing up as ourselves and saying, nope, we are worthy as moms just as this. There's no other qualifier. I don't need a side hustle. I don't need any of these other qualifiers. Just this is, I'm here and I'm worthy just in this role, and demanding it. Not waiting around, demanding it, and not letting someone else take it away from us, by their choice to not recognize it. That's their choice. So that's all I wanted to say today, guys, is that I just wanted to come on and give you that a little blip of encouragement, because that's something that I struggle with too, and particularly midway through the week and on a rainy day, and you start to feel like, just that reminder that we can do little things, very, very little things. Turning on music and lighting a candle takes 5 seconds, but it changes my mood almost instantly, and might do the same for you, which then bleeds out into all of those around us, and we can be our best goat selves. I feel like I need a mug or a t-shirt or something that says like, I am the goat mom or something, but that will get misconstrued. So maybe one of you guys who's more creative than I am can think of a good slogan where I can use the goat. But that's it. I love you guys so much. I just wanted to give you a little Wednesday encouragement. I hope you'll have a fantastic rest of your day, rest of your week, and just know that I love you. I see you, and I think you're an amazing and wonderful mom, and your kids do too. And you are loved. That's it. That's all I got. Love y'all so much. I will chat with you again very soon. Bye.
One last ticket before it's gone.